Welcome from our side to our today's web meeting about the CTI integration with Microsoft Teams. So today's presentation will be recorded, so every attendee will get the slides, the informations, and the recording as a follow-up email. And if you would have any kind of questions, please do not hesitate to type them in the control panel. We will happily answer them in a Q&A session in the end of the webinar today. Well, the speakers from today will be Mr. Dieter Herle, he's our Managing Director. Then we have my colleague Chidomen Chukwuemeka, he's a Senior Account Executive, as well as myself. Annika Sewald is my name, and I'm a Senior Account Executive by Mirage Computer Systems. Okay, today's agenda, we will start with the product overview from all the products that Mirage is providing with Salesforce. Then we will go to the supported setups from Microsoft Teams, and then we go deeper into detail about the Mirage connector for Microsoft Teams. And we'll then proceed with a live demonstration from the connection with our CTI Data Connector and Teams, and end the webinar with a Q&A session. So please, again, if you have questions, please do not hesitate to type them directly in a control panel. Now I can hand over to my colleague, Chewy. He will give us an overview about our products.
Thank you, Annika. And thank you for every person for joining us today to have an overview about our CTI Data Connector with Teams as a telephony system. I'll give you a short information about our company. Mirage was founded in 1995 with the main mission of making it possible for for our customers or users to easily communicate from enterprise solutions. And we have right now worldwide more than 3,500 customers in 75 countries, with our customer built from very, very small startups with 1-2 licenses up to like scaled companies with more than 1,000-2,000 users. And that means you can actually start with 1 license and then scale it up if your company really explodes with the users and needs. We do have two main products as such. The one product is the CTI Data Connector, which is that connector that brings your telephony into Salesforce. That means you will then have a telephone system. It might be an Avaya, it might be a Cisco telephone system, or any other system, because we can connect more than 100 telephone systems, covering about 95% of the telephone system we have on the web market, and bring those information into Salesforce. Secondly, you have the Mirage connector for Service Cloud Voice. Service Cloud Voice is Salesforce's own CTI, and we have a connector which helps you then to connect any other telephone system apart from that completely integrated into Salesforce, and bring that into Salesforce with the Mirage connector. And you can better augment on the functionalities of the CTI or the Mirage connector with the automatic call distribution for Salesforce. It brings then calls based on Salesforce data into Salesforce. That means, for example, you have a set of customers that are VIP customers. We can read that information in Salesforce that those customers are VIP customers, and automatically route then a call to those customers to a user in Salesforce who takes care of VIP customers. And then you have the audio link and archive service. The audio link and archive service bring call recordings done on the telephony side via API directly into Salesforce, so that you can consume those calls, those recordings directly in Salesforce with a click. And secondly, we can also like augment this function with bringing transcriptions in Salesforce of the calls, like transcribing the call and from the speech, which is a recording, to a text, and store it on an object in Salesforce. And if you combine all these three functions, it gives you the contact center suite. So we will start right now with a poll. We have a poll which we want to find out if you are already using MS Teams for landline PSTN calling. This will take like 30 seconds. Just give us a yes or a no, depending on if you're already using Teams. Okay, thank you very much. And right now I'll hand over to our manager Dieter for him to give you an overview of the Teams solution.
Cheers, thank you very much. Yeah, I'll bring now a bit information about possible Teams setups you can have and integrate in Salesforce. So the first Teams setup is called Microsoft Calling Plan. That's the simplest one. You just register, you select phone numbers with Microsoft, you pay the telephone fee to Microsoft, and this one is easy to start. You do not need a session border controller, but it's a bit more expensive, and it's not available in all countries, but it's available in most of the European countries, US. So this is the simplest way to start. Then the next step is to use a direct routing. Typically, every larger company has that set up, so you can select your telecom carrier like Vodafone, Telecom, or any other carrier in each country. So the advantage here is you can select the one which fits with the best fees for each country and have multiple telecom carriers. You need here a session border controller, and then the call come into Teams. So that's perfect if you have multiple countries or if you have a high call volume. Then there's an option called Operator Connect. You see that when you log in into the Teams admin center, you can directly select a large carrier like German Telecom. The advantage is that this carrier then covers everything. You can even buy Teams licenses from them, and you can have the SIP trunks in multiple countries. And last but not least, there is an alternative setup. You can have a telephone system, and the telephone system offers an integration in Teams. So you can have desk phones, soft phones, or Teams. And then the complete logic goes through the telephone system, not through Teams itself. So that's also a setup which is possible, but it requires a cloud telephone or local telephone system. Now, today we completely focus on the Mirage Teams connector, which supports this first three setups, so calling plans or direct routing or Operator Connect. But we also have an integration with Teams and a telephone system behind if you have a 3CX, Wix, or GoTo. And we do have a complete contact center solution with a Teams certified contact center, CC for all. So if you are interested in Teams and a contact center, then just contact our sales. Today, I'll put the focus on the native integration. So what would you need? You would need a Teams license, Microsoft or Office license E5, or any other 365 plan plus a phone system license. Depending on the plan you have, it's also called Business Voice. And you either need a Microsoft calling plan or with direct routing, a zip trunk, and a session border controller. What do you get with Teams as feature set? So Teams offers a so-called auto attendant or IVR. So a call comes in and then you can give a selection, press 1 for sales or 2 for services. Then you have queues, you have a music on hold, you can make a group call, so several people inside a call, you can call transfer calls, park calls, and you have a voicemail. So roughly, this is what you get with Teams native. And some of our highlights with that native integration, which Annika later will present, is we do have a bidirectional synchronization. So that means you select a present state in Salesforce like do not disturb, and then your Teams client is set to do not disturb. Or you are in a Teams meeting, then Teams sets your present state in Salesforce that you are in a meeting. And if you are already using Teams, then you know this is done automatically. So you have a meeting in your calendar. It then first sets in a meeting and then in a call automatically. And then you get the same present state in Salesforce. It's a native integration, and that's the big difference between all other integrations you find on AppExchange. You do not need anything in between. You have our Salesforce integration, you have the Mirage Cloud, we have for every telephone system, and we can directly connect to Teams without a contact center or telephone system in between. We support all the Teams clients. So you have Windows, you have a Mac client, you have browser or mobile client. And we have a very cool feature. It's called Live Agent Status Dashboard. So in Salesforce, you see all Teams users and all Salesforce users with CTI, what they are, in which present state they are, how long they are in a present state, if they are in a call right now, which we also will show in the demonstration. Now there are some limitations or differences in if you compare Teams with CTI Data Connector and Salesforce integration, or if you just have Teams. When you make an outbound call, the call technically does not use your direct extension number. It uses a bot, and that means the other one does not see your direct extension number. So here the recommendation is to show the main office number, or you can make setups where you have a sales and a service team, and then you could show a sales team number or service team number. So that's one differentiator. When you make a call from the Teams client, then the call is not signaled in Salesforce. That's a limitation. If you want to have a protocol in Salesforce, you need to start the call in Salesforce. Then you also see that in the presentation, if you work right now with a normal telephone integration from us, you can just click on the phone number and then you are directly connected to the call. With Teams, it's different because it's a group call. You are invited to the call when you click in Salesforce, and that means you have to accept the invitation and click on it. And it's technically a conference. So in every call you make, you see the bot, which is technically controlling the call, and you see the other caller. It's just one participant more in a call, that's all. And we have right now the feature set outbound call, inbound call to direct extension numbers. In March, we will add queues with some limitations, so not all routing options will be supported. A routing option is, for example, if a call comes in the queue, that it rings on all agents, or it rings in a specific sequence for the agents. And we will then support more queue features end of Q2, but the first queue function set will cover around 80% you have right now with queues in Teams. And audio recording will be added end of Q2. The audio recording then has the feature that it's linked to Salesforce. So when you check on the contact or you check the task, then you see there is a recording. And as Chewy mentioned before, we can also do a call transcription that you see the text from the call in Salesforce. Later, or in 2 days, you get all the slides, and there's a link with which gives you all the features and limitations which are available. From the technical part, it looks like this one. You have either a zip trunk and a session border controller with direct routing, or you have your Microsoft calling plan, and that's important. The setup with another provider, for example, you use in Germany a cloud provider like Enphone, Playstyle, Zipgate, and they also offer to have Teams as one extension instead of desk phone. This is not working. It's a native Teams integration, so the calls must go into Teams directly. And you have your Office, and we have on the left side Salesforce and the Mirage Cloud. The Mirage Cloud we have for every telephone system, but the specialty for Teams is the bot in Azure. So technically, in your Azure, it runs a bot service. And when a call comes in, the bot is notified, and then it notifies our cloud, and then you see the call in Salesforce, or you put the call on hold in Salesforce. We inform the cloud, the bot, and then the call in Teams is set on hold. So this one is quite straightforward, and the big advantage is we use your existing Teams setup. So you do not need to rebuild queues, extension numbers, add users. Everything which you have configured in Teams, we take and connect it via the Graph API. That's the API from Microsoft with the bot and the Azure service. Yeah, now we can go to the live demonstration so that you see what I just explained in live, and Annika will cover that part.
Yes, thank you, Dieter. And we should already see the landing page in Salesforce in the Sales Cloud. Okay, and what we can see in the bottom is the activity bar, and we have our CTI Data Connector embedded there. Okay, I start with an incoming call just to have an insight about the call handling first in Salesforce. Okay, so this is the main difference. The Teams toaster is popping up, and I take the call in a toaster. In the same time, the call itself is building up in Salesforce. It's also showing up in Salesforce when it's incoming before I take the call in a toaster, but this would be the handling. Two things are happening in the side of Salesforce. In behind, when I took the call, an object is opening. In this scenario, it's an opportunity. It's free of choose. You can use to open up an account, a contact, a lead, opportunity, custom objects, or cases. And in the CTI, we do have informations from the customer itself. We have the contact, we have the account, and informations, it's a variable fields between account and contact that you can show up, which are relevant for the telephony. It can also be more than just 3 fields. Then I can handle the call. I have a dial pad. I could initiate a call, transfer, or make the call on hold, or also hang up the call in Salesforce. I do not need to jump in Teams if I want to end the call. Then I have a free phone note field. I can just type in relevant information about the call. I just keep it short at the moment. And then the next sections, the drop-downs, are about the call results. And we do have the possibility to make different call result groups. It can be dependent on a department like sales and service, and they would have a complete different call result lists, what they would choose. Or you are using products or campaigns as you would need it. Now I would choose to choose CTI Data Connector and would take a result as send a quote. And the last section, the third drop down, would be the option to create something new. This can be a standard object in Salesforce like case or opportunity, but you also have the possibility to show up your own custom objects if needed, or you would invoke flows. If you need a flow within an active call, it could be like sending out a specific email template, so you could build the flow and invoke it from the CTI. Okay, the section regarding assignment would show to me where I will see the call afterwards in Salesforce. So we have 2 assignments. One is for the contact and the second one is at the moment in the opportunity. I could always manually change the assignment to a different object. The CTI is always recognizing if you're opening a different object in behind and asking you if you want to change it. But that was so far the incoming call. I would end the call at the moment. And then just choose my next action. I would say, okay, I want a follow-up task for tomorrow. I can choose the parameters directly from the CTI. So I have the standard task creation from Salesforce, but we are using the information from the call and pasting them directly in a task creation. I obviously just need to type in my subject, date is for tomorrow, contact, the opportunities related, and I click on save. Okay, so I had an inbound call. I have every kind of relevant information saved from the call, and I also created a task in Salesforce. If we now jump into the contact and have a look into the activity, we do see the task creation and the inbound call from a couple of seconds ago. If I open up the activity from the call, I see in the description also my phone note. These are all relevant informations for me as a user to know what was happening in the past calls with the customer. Okay, that was the call handling from the Salesforce side. Slide, it doesn't contain all the features and functions, otherwise we would not have enough time for today. I would now start with an outgoing call just to show you how it's handled. And let's take the call. So I would invoke the call and take the call on my mobile phone. I'm sorry. Good. So I would firstly, it would call out. I take the call and would activate the call. So it will, the bot would create the conference call and make a landline call to the customer. Now it's on my mobile phone, it's an active call, and as you can see here in Teams. Now, we do also support a feature if I would have the need maybe to ask my colleague to join the call. So I could make a hybrid call and ask my colleague Kostrim to join the call. So Kostrim, can you hear me? Hello, that's really great. So I'm at the moment in a landline call and in the same time also in a Teams web meeting. So it's like a hybrid call at the moment. Now, I'm wondering, Kostrim, if you are able to show your screen just like in web meeting. Yeah. Yes, it's building up. Yeah, we can see everything. That's really great. I mean, that's a really nice feature. It's supported from our connection and is provided from Microsoft Teams itself. So it's a feature from Microsoft that you could use a landline call and then directly stay in a landline call and ask maybe a colleague to help you, or you would invite your customer where you have the call to go into the web meeting. And yeah, that's possible. You could share some documents or your screen within a call. Thank you, Kostrim. I would proceed with the demonstration. That was really great that you had the time to show that. Thanks, bye. Okay, I would stay in the call and jump quickly into Salesforce because we talk about present states, and we have a really nice tool to show any kind of present states in Salesforce from my colleagues. So this is our live agent dashboard. It shows up every kind of user and how the availability at the moment is from the users. So the last person or the last user is myself in my demonstration, and we can see I am at the moment on a call. It's an outgoing call, and I do also see which kind of contact I have the call in Salesforce. We do also see the extensions from my colleagues in this dashboard. I can search for skills, like I want to see everyone in the sales department, and I would just see any kind of user with sales. I see the city and the country and also the local time from my colleagues. So if I would have different locations, colleagues who are on different time zones, I just take a look into the live agent dashboard and know, okay, is he maybe, yeah, what time do they have at the same time? Okay, and we do also have a chart. It's an overview about your team. It's a really interesting tool maybe for supervisors to have an insight just about the active calls. So who is available and how many calls do I have at the moment. So I have one incoming call and I have one outgoing call. So you can have it in one side. Okay, then I would hang up the call. So I can also hang up the call in Salesforce. There's no need to jump in Teams. At the moment, I would not save it. And we take a look in the present state. Okay, I can configure different present states in the CTI. As example, do not disturb, and I would just change my status in Salesforce into do not disturb. And if we are now looking in Teams, it's also in Teams changing the status to do not disturb. And I can then change the status to available in Teams, and it's changing automatically the status in CTI. And if we have a look to the Live Agent dashboard, it takes a couple of seconds to update, but here my alias also is available again. Okay, that was the Live Agent dashboard. Now I shortly jump into some settings in the CTI. So, sorry. To log in with your Teams credentials in CTI is only necessary once. So you would once save your credentials in CTI and it will remain. In the moment when I am logging into Salesforce, I'm logged into CTI and the CTI is connected with your Teams user. So there's no need to have an everyday login here. And I do also have the possibility to change my voicemail settings directly in CTI. So you can also use Salesforce for that. Great. So I just scratched the features and functions and possibilities with our CTI solution and Teams in this demonstration. If you would need some kind of more information and want to have a complete oversight from our possibilities, then please do not hesitate to contact us and we will schedule a demonstration together with you. Then I would now switch back.
Annika, we still have a bit time. You could show a dashboard before we then finalize with the Q&A session and also show how to send an SMS.
Oh, that's not a problem. Well, then let's have a look into the reporting possibilities. We do have pre-configured dashboards and reports that you could use with the package from our CTI Data Connector, and this is an example. You would have an overview regarding the call results and unsuccessful calls per day, how many calls you had per timeline. Then we would have a differentiation between calls with accounts per country or contacts or leads. Can also be filtered for the needs that you have. Then we have the total call time, inbound, outbound calls in total. Then we have the call result groups categorized with the call results itself. How many SMS sent by day? This is a feature that I would show you just in a couple of seconds. Then how many call transfers did you had and the peak times from your calls. And these are break down into outbound, inbound, and internal calls. So you can have an insight in which daytime you have the most outbound calls or the inbound or internal calls. Okay, and it's pre-configured. There is no need to build it. It's directly available with our CTI. The SMS feature is a feature in CTI. If you would need to use it, you can configure and activate it. In the behind, we will use a pinpoint service from Amazon. And this is how it looks. We can send out SMS manually with a manual text directly to the customer, or I can create templates that are including a specific text. Maybe if I did not reach the customer, then I just choose to send out an email template that I want a callback. We can also use SMS in flows in Salesforce. So if you would have maybe created just a case, then you want to notify the customer that the case is created or the status of the case is changed into a specific one, and then you would send out an SMS to the customer as an information. So this is a feature. It's available with the CTI Data Connector, and it's not an additional feature. Okay, good. Then I think I'm so far ready. And I would hand over back to I would hand over the screen back. Okay. We would have a quick poll before we would go into the Q&A session. It would be really great if you would have the time to choose an answer for that. The question is, what would be your timeline if you are planning to integrate Microsoft Teams with Salesforce? So if you have planned something in the near future or maybe somewhere in the future, yeah, so that would be great. Good. A couple of seconds waiting. I'm seeing a lot of are already choosing. That's really great. And now we can focus on the questions because we have a lot of questions. Okay. Firstly, I need to have a look where we start. Okay, the first question is if we will share the PowerPoint slides after the webinar. Yes, of course, we will share all the informations in a follow-up email. So yeah, that's not that will be happen. Also the recording from the webinar itself. The second question would be, is this client just for inbounds or also interesting for outbound? Dieter, maybe you want to answer this question.
Yeah, sure. So we support in and outbound calls. So what Annika showed was inbound call to a direct extension number. That's also not usual. A contact center solution allows you only to call to queues. We support direct extension number calling, and we can directly make an outbound call from Salesforce. Yeah, so both options are supported.
Great. Okay. Then we have the next question regarding limitation. It is advised to always start calls from Salesforce instead of from Teams. Chewy, do you want to answer? Or Dieter?
I can answer that. Yes. Yeah, for example, if you want the calls then be protocol in Salesforce, then you have to start the calls in Salesforce, because the calls in Salesforce initiate, let me say, the bot call and then call your customer out. So if you want to like have your calls in Salesforce, you start the calls in Salesforce.
Thank you, Chewy. Then we have a question, is using Microsoft Teams to get an outbound call also possible? Or do Salesforce user need to use Salesforce for calling? Dieter, do you want to answer this question?
It's in the end similar to the other one. Our complete control is in Salesforce. So everything you want to do, you start in Salesforce. We also recommend, for example, to do the present state changing in Salesforce. And here it's the same. With outbound call, you select a contact lead account or you just type in a phone number. The only important thing is you do it in Salesforce. So you can type in just the phone number, click on call in Salesforce, and then it's protocoled. But if you make, for example, a call starting from Teams, Teams app or Teams mobile, it would not be protocol in Salesforce.
Okay, thank you. Then we had a question regarding the incoming call, what happens if we do not directly accept it? I'm sorry, we in a demonstration we did not see the question on that time, but it's depending what you're configured in Teams. So what happens if you do not answer the call? So if it's going back to the queue or going to a voicemail. In Salesforce, you can configure to save automatically missed calls, so that's possible. And regarding the call flows, that's the second question, how they could be configured. This is something I think we should get back via mail. It's it would be too long to explain it directly now. So we would come back to you via mail.
Here I could just give a comment. A call flow is only possible with a contact center solution. So that would be possible with CC for all. With Teams, you do have the option to have an IVR as a call flow. So the call comes in and then the user gets an IVR. That's option 1. Option 2 is to get a queue, and then it rings on agent 1. Agent 1 does not answer. It rings on agent B. And the third option is that you get a direct call. What you don't have with the normal Teams integration are complex flows that the call comes in, it does a lookup in Salesforce to detect who is a case owner or account owner. This is not possible with the normal Teams because the feature set in Teams is not available. So for this one, you would need a contact center integration with Teams, which we offer with CC for all.
Okay, thank you, Dieter. Yes, next question. Is there a test version or a demo version available? I can directly answer that. Yes, we do have the possibility either to test it directly with your existing Microsoft Teams configuration as a trial, or if you would need a longer one, then we also have the possibility to run a POC. Then we have a question. If I have the customer in the call, is it possible to check the dashboard in parallel with my colleagues? Telephone status, call available, colleague order from dashboard. Yes.
Yes.
That's the main purpose. You could also have a tab open the constant time, a second tab in your browser, where you just have the live agent dashboard opened. And if you're in an active call, you can always have it in your site. Then we have a question, will there, sorry, now I'm jumping somewhere else.
Should I take over?
Yes, I just,
okay.
If you have it,
yes, the next question is actually, will there be chance to connect the outbounds to individual numbers? Dieter, can you answer that, please?
Okay, it's technically possible if every user wants to display his personal extension number. It requires a bit additional configuration, and you technically need 3 phone numbers to achieve that. That's why our suggestion is, okay, display the team, sales team phone number or main office number. But if you say, okay, I have users who want to show or always display their own number, it's possible. You just need technically 3 telephone numbers to achieve that.
The next question is it meant as SaaS or Salesforce software as a service? If what is the license fee? Yeah, we do. It's actually like a service, a software as a service solution, and the licenses are often bounded with the Salesforce licenses. That means we have a license fee, per user per month, and averagely we are listed on the App Exchange. It goes then from 25 euros per user per month. And there, to move on, we do offer different discount possibilities, but that is something that you can get if you contact us directly, and we can together sit and see your real need of the licensing, and then you get an offer from us.
Good. I think we do have a couple of questions remaining, but we are over time. So I need to thank for everyone to your attendance and your interest in our products. We will come back and answer every open question that we did not answer now via mail, and take contact to you directly. And please, if you would have any kind of need or questions afterwards, just write us a mail in sales@mirage-systems.com. Then I would say from my